Hi, welcome back, WeldTube family. My name is David Zariza, pipe welder from El Paso, Texas.
My name is Luke Lewis. I'm a pipe welder from Brownsville, Texas. And today we're going to be brother-in-law this piece of 12-inch carbon pipe, 250 wall, TIG all the way out. All right, so we've got this piece of 12-inch carbon pipe. It's a 250 wall. Right now we've got it set up at about a 5/32, loose 5/32 gap. I'm gonna be using 1/8 filler. I got my machine set on 95 on the Miller XMT 350 Field Pro. These for the tacking. We'll see how it feels for the root.
All right, so I'm gonna be running 1/8 wire as well. I'm running about 85 amps. All right guys, so today I'm gonna be using this WeldTube medium cut pipe liner hood with the flip adapter and using the new Clearview HD lens. So this new Clearview HD lens, I've been putting it through its paces, man, testing it out. It's super clear, it's become my new favorite lens. Let's get ready to use it.
All right, so we're gonna move on to tacking it. We've kind of got our gap already set. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna check for high-low. On a short piece like this, you can reach your hand in, feel around. You can feel the high-low, you feel these flat spots if you need to split the difference or work it out. But, in the field, normally you're gonna have a long piece on each end. And if you can't reach your hand in, that's when a high-low gauge comes in.
So the way you guys use this high-low gauge, you actually push these little legs out, put it inside the pipe, turn it 90 degrees here. Then you pull up, it's got kind of a spring to tension. And then up on top, it's got this line and you can see your difference in high-low there. Looks good on top. Got a little bit of high-low on the bottom, but you kind of felt that around too. Good. I don't know if you want to check your side there.
We got a little bit on my side, maybe a 16th.
Yeah, I'm about the same on this side, so I guess we got it pretty split there.
So it's split. That's doable.
All right, guys, so we're going to put 4 penetrated tacks. Luke's going to go ahead and tack the top here for us. Go ahead and tack the top first.
All right, I'm going to put the first penetrated tack up on top, running at 95 amps. Maybe about 1/2 inch.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull the spacer out. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and tack the bottom here. I'm running about 85 amps. All right guys, now that we know the top and bottom are level here, so we're gonna check the sides using these 2 pipe fitter squares here. Make sure the square is straight against the side. All right, as you can see, we got a little bit of gap here at the end. So that means my side needs to close a little bit. So we're gonna go ahead and use a wedge on Luke's side.
Give it a little tap, see if it opens up for us. All right, so we got the wedge tapped in. We're gonna double check it, see where we're at. Could use a little more.
A little bit more.
And give it one good tap. There we go.
All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and tack my side first, just so it doesn't try to pull back. All right guys, so go ahead and tack this side so it draws in a little bit on my side. Relieve a little bit of tension on that wedge.
All right, so I just threw my tack in. We're gonna double check square again, make sure it stayed. It's pretty close. All right, so I went ahead and ground down where I'm gonna start, make sure it ties in nicely. And I ground down like a little ramp up here on my tack so it ties in up on the side.
When you're brother-in-lawing, you both can't take off really at the bottom at the same time here with TIG, so I'm gonna go ahead and let Luke, gain a little bit of ground, start going, and then I'll go ahead and start my side. So once Luke makes his way up a little bit, I'll be able to, grind at the bottom. I don't want to hit him with sparks with the grinder. Being mindful of your partner here.
All right, so I made my ways up a little bit. I go ahead and stop. I'm gonna let David grind in his start so he gets a good tie in. And once he's going, I'm gonna jump right back in. All right, so always remember to grind your stop and starts. You want to make sure you get a tie in every time. All right, now that David's got his side going pretty well, I'm going to jump back into my side. All right, so starting off, I've got my filler wire braced up on my side tack, and it's going to help stabilize my filler wire as I'm feeding it. You know, if you're coming in from the very top, it's a long ways. It's kind of hard to keep it steady. So what I do is I'll brace it up on the bottom side of my side tack, and I'll put my hands there, kind of use it as leverage, and it helps keep that filler wire a lot more stable. All right, so we both got tied in on the sides. Now, if we both continued going up, our wires would eventually mess each other up once we got to the top, and it would just be a pain. So I'm gonna go ahead and run mine side up because it's kind of closed up a little bit more than he is. So I'm gonna run mine, I'm gonna grind this out, get tied in, and then once I'm out of his way, he's gonna come in, tie in, and then we're gonna take off again, do the same thing. So I'm freehanding the root. I'm kind of using a side-to-side motion and making sure I'm filling in with the filler wire. I'm keeping that puddle fed, and I'm also rocking back and forth, catching the sides of the weld, catching the toes, making sure it breaks down the wall and it ties in real nice. I'm running at 85 amps, keeping it nice and controlled, keeping the filler wire up inside the bevel, tying in on both sides of the wall, making sure to break it down. All right, so as I was coming up, it was kind of getting a little bit closed right here. So I came in with the grinder just now, just kind of feather down the bevels a little bit, open it up so I can have some room to work. We'll get back at it. So here at the top, it's still closing up. So what I'm doing is I'm keyholing, dabbing into that keyhole, filling it, fusing both sides, moving up, keyhole, dab in, fuse both sides, move up, keyhole, dab in, fuse both sides, and just repeat that. You gotta make sure you burn those walls.
All right, so Luke got his root tied in here on the top, so I'm gonna go ahead and prep my side. It's a little tight, so I'm gonna go ahead and open it up with the grinder. I'm gonna go ahead and fire up on my side here. Still running the same temp. Got a good gap now after grinding it, so. I always like warming up my tack where I'm taking off. You know, I thin it out, get it real hot. Then I go ahead and start adding wire. You know, making sure I heat the tack up right before I start tying in. I'm running a 1/8 70S6 wire here at 85 amps. You know, I kind of just like to bridge this wire up and over the inside edges of the bevel, just making sure I tie in. You know, just trying to stay real consistent with the feeding and just continue to work my way up. I'm gonna go ahead and do this top quarter. For this one, I'm actually gonna walk the cup here. Same thing, I'm running a 1/8 wire. Just gonna go ahead and just try to stay consistent, keeping the filler wire just slightly below the inner edges of the bevel. You know, I like to slow down a little bit to put a little more heat on my tie-in.
All right, so we just finished up the root, got it tied in on the top. We're gonna come in, clean it up, hit it with the grinding disc, and then we'll start on our hot pass.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and do our hot pass. I got my machine set at 130 amps. Gonna go ahead and start from the bottom. And I know Luke's gonna wait up for me to get up a little ways, and then he'll start up on his side. You know, sweeping side to side. You know, I'm hardly adding any filler metal, just a little bit. It's kind of just melting the wire. You know, I'm just basically walking and moving my way up, nice and smooth, tying in both edges of the bevel. You're going to see the edges tie in here. You want to sweep cleanly, smoothly, and you don't want to stay in one spot too long. You know, the root's still pretty thin. Just want to keep moving forward, keep working your way up, and you just continue this kind of rhythm all the way up to the top.
All right, so we just finished up our hot pass. Now that we've got a little more metal built up, we're gonna go ahead and start with our fill. We got our machine set at 150. Now there's more metal built up, we're both gonna take off at the same time, but on opposite corners. So I'm gonna start at the bottom and work my way up to the halfway, and he's actually gonna start on his top quarter. And then we'll both be out of each other's way, and then we'll switch.
So as I'm filling, guys, I like to keep like a nice molten puddle in front of me. You can see I'm kind of feeding quite a bit of wire. I'll kind of like walk side to side, make sure the puddle's tying into the sides nicely. And then just add a little bit of wire as I'm moving forward. Trying to push enough to kind of come up to flush. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and do our fill pass here. Starting off right here on the bottom. Once I light up here, I want to make sure that I got everything nice and hot. And then I'm basically going to create a pretty large puddle and then start feeding wire slowly into it. As long as I have a nice puddle, I can kind of push that filler wire into it without a chance of lack of fusion. You know, as you can see, I'm kind of carrying a lot of metal here at once, and just got to keep sweeping nice and consistent, trying not to take too large of a step forward. You know, when you kind of do that, you can get lack of fusion sometimes. So just keeping a nice tight weave, just you know, keep pushing filler metal till I get flush. We're almost flush here, and you know, just keep walking up. It'll get a little easier as we start coming up to the side. You know, it'll fill in a little easier on the sides.
All right, we filled it up, getting ready to start on the cap. I'm gonna jump down to 3/32 wire, leaving the amps at 140. We'll start on the bottom and work our way to the top. You know, as we're capping, try to keep a steady motion, just back and forth. Try to get into a rhythm. Watch the puddle behind you. Make sure it's coming out consistent. Watch the toes where you're fusing into. You know, on the bottom of the pipe, it can get pretty uncomfortable. You know, your back may start hurting, your arm may start getting tired. Just make sure you're comfortable. Make sure you kind of plan your routes where you know you're going to be able to get from the bottom up to the side, up to the top. Hopefully, preferably in one movement, in one pass.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and cap my side using a 332 wire and also running 140 amps, going from the bottom up as well. All right, guys, so we're on our last pass here, cap pass with a 332, and we're going to try to get in the most comfortable position we can. I know the bottom is going to be really tight, really uncomfortable, and the main thing here is just to be able to stay consistent, nice and smooth. You know, not adding too much filler metal at once, just trying to keep a nice and even pace and just trying to follow that all the way through. And as you kind of come up, you want to try to get yourself in a little bit more comfortable position. Move your legs back a little bit. Just keep walking and sweeping as you move up. Keep real close attention to the sides and to the edges. All right, guys, and with this Clearview HD lens, I can really see the edges. I can really see the side. You know, I can see all the little grind marks on the side and any little variations. I can clearly see my edges. It really helps me when I'm capping. I've got a nice view of where I'm going and where I'm at. Got a really clear view of the puddle. That really helps out when you're trying to cap. Really nice and really smooth.
All right, guys, there you have it. From root to cap, we brother-in-law the 12-inch carbon pipe. Hope you liked it. Hope you learned something. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Remember, guys, if you guys like the cool gear we had here, the hood, the lens, flip adapter, don't forget to visit weldlife.com. Get you one of these.